The last episode explored the potential for natural nail damage to result from using overly abrasive nail files or aggressive filing techniques of any type. This episode focuses on several issues related to the use of electric files on natural nails. Not surprisingly, there's a lot to know before you can properly and safely use an electric file. The first thing to understand is that whenever electric files are used, they create lots of very fine dust, and this can increase the potential for overexposure. Finer dust particles float in the air, while the larger particles quickly fall. Dust can be messy, but these particles aren't likely to be inhaled while sitting on your lap, whereas suspended dust particles can enter the breathing zone and become inhaled. Everyone has a breathing zone. It's an invisible sphere, about the size of a beach ball, placed directly in front of your face. Every breath you take comes from your breathing zone, so if you minimize the amount of vapors or dust in this area, you will minimize your exposure. That's the goal. It's not that inhaling nail dust is especially risky. The facts are, inhaling excessive amounts of any type of dust for long periods should be avoided, even house dust. Dust can be irritating and may aggravate previously existing breathing problems, such as asthma. One way to minimize dust is to use specially formulated oils designed for application to the nail plate while filing. This can significantly reduce the amount of airborne dusts. As you can see, manual filing not only creates much less dust, in general, the particles created are larger and heavier, so they fall to the tabletop and are less likely to be inhaled. Of course, lots of dust particles are still created, so the use of proper ventilation is a must for all nail salons. The very best way to control dust in a salon is with a professional source capture type exhaust system designed to collect and remove dust particles from the air or to ventilate them to the outdoors. Exposure is also greatly reduced by wearing a high-quality, properly fitted dust mask. Choose a mask designed specifically for dust, mist, or molds. These types are vastly superior to the flimsy and ineffective surgical type mask. You can find a good dust mask on the internet. For example, look for those rated as being N95. They are highly effective and a great choice for dusts. This image shows a condition that is commonly called a ring of fire. It's easy to see the rather steep ledge in the nail plate, which was created by an electric file, with some help from a heavy-handed nail technician. More than 1/3 of the thickness of this nail plate has been filed away, leaving it thinner, weaker, and more likely to break. This is not a correct procedure for applying artificial nails, and this practice should be avoided. It's best to lightly file the uppermost layer of the nail. Removing only 3 to 4% of the nail plate surface is all that's needed to improve adhesion, not 40 to 50%. That's just wrong. Protect the nail. That's the main job of a true nail professional. Are you wondering what a ring of fire looks like when it's magnified? Let's take a look. This image isn't in 3D, so the deep ledge isn't as pronounced, but at 35 times magnification, you can see large differences between the filed and unfiled nail plate. The wavy lines are tiny gouges in the nail plate, created by the rapidly spinning bit of an electric file. In the next image, we'll zoom 500 times closer to inspect the surface. You can see the surface has been completely retexturized and microscopic gouges are clearly visible. Gouges weaken the nail and may serve as a seed for a crack, so they should be minimized. Examples of techniques that can gouge a nail plate are failing to keep the electric file or the manual file flat against the surface while filing, or by using electric files at excessively high speeds. When compared side by side with the 3D images from the previous episode, the appearance of the nail plate filed with an electric file is similar to what is seen when a 180 grit file is used with a heavy hand. Both plates have gouges caused by aggressive filing. Not surprisingly, the 60 grit abrasive caused the greatest amount of surface damage, by far. So the lesson here is that nail damage can occur with any of these, if nail filing is not properly and carefully performed. Even so, the facts remain that both electric files and the 60 grit files can quickly and easily remove half the thickness of the nail plate. So I recommend that neither of these ever be used on the natural nail. Many clients' nails need only a 240 grit abrasive, while some problem lifters may require a 180 grit file. But in all cases, a light touch should always be used. It is important to understand that electric files require specialized training if they are to be used safely and properly. I highly recommend taking educational classes before using an electric file on clients, since harm is possible if improperly used.